Good evening, America, and thank you for tuning in to Communist News Network, your number one, totally trusted news source. We have a lot to unpack today, with two big stories which are totally real, unlike the things that we've reported in the past. And I am totally not reading this off of a teleprompter. Our first story begins in South Dakota, where an alleged protest has led to a fierce standoff between protesters and authorities. Chase Dakota, our reporter, is live reporting from the scene.
Good evening, America. I'm Chase Dakota, coming to you half frozen and slightly terrified from the Pine Ridge Reservation in Wounded Knee, South Dakota, where things are heated up faster than a microwave burrito despite the sub-zero temperatures. We're in week 6 of the standoff between federal forces and the American Indian Movement, also known as AIM. And let's just say, no one's exactly singing Kumbaya out here. We're not here to make small talk. We're here to make history. And the government's been breaking treaties longer than my grandma's been breaking bingo records. We demand justice, sovereignty, and somebody to explain why our tribal chairman is acting more like a dictator than a leader. That tribal chairman he would be talking about is Richard, don't make me call the FBI, Wilson, the chairman accused of corruption, nepotism, and being besties with the U.S. government, something that the Native Americans don't exactly like. AIM and many locals have had enough and occupied the town of Wounded Knee back on February 27th, and they've been here ever since, armed, determined, and somehow surviving on a diet of raw beans and rage.
Wounded Knee is sacred land. It's where our ancestors were massacred in 1890. My grandfather was one of them. The blood of our people still runs through this soil. We're not just fighting for politics. We're fighting for our spirits, our memory, and our right to exist. I've lived here for my entire life, and never have I ever been more proud of my ancestry than right now in this moment.
Powerful words from a powerful place, but not everyone is thrilled with the situation.
Yeah, this is great. I was supposed to be skiing in Aspen this weekend with my wife for my honeymoon. And instead, I'm ducking bullets in South Dakota. And I'm cold. And I'm very cranky, because I haven't seen a coffee shop in days. Honestly, I'd surrender too if they offered me a latte.
The situation remains tense. There have been gunfire exchanges, 2 Native men have tragically lost their lives, and federal agents have brought in armored vehicles that look like leftovers from a Cold War garage sale. Yet, AIM continues to stand strong, calling out systematic injustice, government betrayal, and demanding the world will pay attention.
We're not criminals, we're patriots. Patriots with braids and barricades. Even though I don't have braids, I'm still a patriot. All we want is what was promised to us, and maybe better snacks, because I'm craving some Oreos.
So, here we are. The world is watching, the snow keeps falling, and AIM refuses to back down. Whether you're tuning in from your living room or a college dorm full of protest posters, one thing is clear. History isn't just something what you read about. Sometimes it looks you straight in the eye, from behind a barricade in Wounded Knee. This is Chase Dakota, freezing my tail off, from Wounded Knee, signing off. Back to you in the studio, where I assume you have heat. Our next story brings us to Washington, D.C., where a groundbreaking claim by the Supreme Court is making headlines across the nation. Casey, how are things looking over there? Good evening, America. I'm Casey Lawford, reporting to you live from Washington, D.C., where things are getting more intense than a family dinner when someone brings up politics. We're talking about the landmark decision that the Supreme Court has recently made in a Supreme Court case, Roe v. Wade, a decision that's got the country more divided than a pizza at a middle school sleepover.
Dude, this is about basic rights. A woman's body is not a political playground. The government has no business making decisions about someone else's pregnancy. Especially a government full of old men who can't even find the laundry room, dude. Oh, did I say? I'm 6'5", by the way.
It all started when Jane Roe, an alias for the Texas woman named Norma McCorvey, challenged the state's abortion laws, which only allowed abortion if the mother's life was in danger. Represented by lawyers Sarah Weddington and Linda Coffey, Roe argued that these laws violated her constitutional right to privacy. The case rose to the Supreme Court a few days ago because, well, everything dramatic eventually ends up there. We ruled 7-2 that the Constitution of the United States protects a woman's right to choose. The Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment of the United States of America guarantees a right to privacy, and apparently the right to not have the state of Texas up in your business. Now, of course, this new declaration by the Supreme Court is going to change a lot, and of course, not everyone was cheering.
This decision is a tragedy. Life begins at conception, and we believe the unborn need protection too. So we're going to keep fighting, marching, and writing very long letters to Congress. I call it bothering the government. It rhymes with grug.
The reaction? Massive. Some celebrated the decision as a victory for women's rights and personal freedom. Others viewed it as a moral and legal disaster. Protests erupted, churches rang bells, feminists took to the streets, and lawmakers, well, they started drafting speeches faster than a teenager writes a late English paper.
Look, I just came here for a muffin, and now there are people chanting outside. I don't know how we solve this, but I do know that we should probably talk it out more without yelling. Preferably over coffee, or water, whichever works.
And now, the echoes of Roe v. Wade are still being felt all across the country. It has become one of the most influential and controversial Supreme Court decisions in American history. Whether you see it as a milestone for liberty or a moral misstep, one thing's for sure. Roe v. Wade changed the conversation forever. This is Casey Lawford, dodging protest signs and legal jargon, reporting live from the steps of the Supreme Court. Back to you, where hopefully things are a little less intense. Thank you, Casey, for that marvelous report. And thank you, audience, for tuning in to tonight's episode of Communist News Network, your number one, totally most trusted news source. This has been CNN Live at 5. Good night.